So today I want to talk a little bit about why it's so important to retire now if you can.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire.
And so one of the first things I was reading was the average life expectancy in the U.S. right now, and some of these things may not be so accurate, but I believe that they are. Anyway, average life expectancy is 76.4 years in 2025. Your healthy life expectancy, when you're healthy, you don't really have any chronic illnesses, is actually 63.9. So roughly 64 years old. A lot of people they wait, think, gosh, I can get so much more money if I just don't, retire yet by waiting another 3 years, waiting till they're 66. And it seems like that number keeps going further out, every year it seems like. It's just my opinion. So anyway, if you wait till you're 66, and then let's say you have some kind of physical condition that's making it tough, for you to even get around, well, then you'd be wishing you had made your move earlier, because you can't buy time back. If your life, as you get older, the likelihood of you having a chronic condition of some type, it just increases dramatically. So it's good to, I think, take it earlier if you can. And if that means, maybe relocating to Southeast Asia or some other place, South America, wherever, then give it some good consideration. When I first decided that I wanted to go ahead and travel some and pretty much retire early, one of the first things that I did, and I think it's a good way to go, really, to go ahead and if you have credit card debt, which I did, took the smallest bill first, and then I went ahead and paid that down, paid it off, and then I went to the next bill, the next credit card with the next lowest amount, and then I paid that off, and then you go to the next one. So you start off with the smallest one first, and you take that additional money once you get that small bill paid off. Let's say you had a minimum payment there of $40 or something. Then you go ahead and you pay off apply that $40 on top of what the normal payment would be on that next bill. I mean, try to pay them off as quick as you can. And once you get those credit cards paid off, you'll see, if that's your situation, you're going to see that, man, things get a little bit easier for you because you're not wasting all that money on credit card payments. All that interest. I mean, those interest rates are incredible. You might be paying 22, 24, 25% or more on those. And it compounds, so anyway, yeah, get those credit cards paid off. And then if you have a car payment, get that paid off. And super important because we're creatures of habit. And so to break the habit of having car payments your whole life can be really difficult for a lot of people. Usually what they'll do is they'll pay off their car, and within about 8 weeks they'll go buy another new one with a car payment. So it's kind of crazy. It's like you waste so much money by doing that. And if you could get away from that, and go ahead and invest that money instead of putting it into a car payment. You would just be so much better off. It's definitely something to think about if you do really seriously want to travel in that. Get those bills paid off so that you can just focus on your expenses wherever you're at. You know, it just, it'll make a world of difference for you. So the next thing, you know, that I wanted to talk about too is that when you get, you know, if you're serious about making that move, serious about moving to Thailand or the Philippines, wherever it is, if you can change your mindset, instead of thinking, gosh, I need to put all this stuff into storage, you know, I'm gonna have to buy a car over there, all that kind of stuff. If you can just have an open mind and realize that by putting all that stuff into storage, you're spending money on all these storage fees, and you know, by the end of the year, you know, you do this over a full year, maybe those storage fees are $150 a month. Well, that's $1,800 you just wasted on a lot of the stuff that you're storing as junk that you've, you know, held on for years and years. You hold on to this stuff because, you know, it becomes part of your, I don't know, your memories and stuff, and it's hard to part with the stuff. But in reality, if you just get rid of that stuff, in 1 year's time, you'd probably be able to buy all new stuff, you know, and wherever you're going to, or shortly thereafter. But, you know, when you're traveling, you find that you don't need all this stuff. You know, you don't need that china cabinet. You don't need, you know, that furniture that's been in your household for, you know, passed down from generation to generation, that kind of thing. Now, these, again, are just my own opinions. So, you know, do whatever makes you happy. But I did hear, you know, one guy saying that, well, you know, he's shipping out like 10 crates from the U.S. over to the Philippines. Oh gosh, it costs like, I don't remember the exact amount, but it was super expensive. And then he ended up not liking it there. Then he had to ship them all back. You know, so basically he probably spent about 10 grand shipping all this stuff that he doesn't even use. If you can, you know, kind of become a minimalist, it will just make your whole life easier. The other thing too is, in the U.S., when you have all this stuff, I think it applies to pretty much everywhere. You've got all these belongings. You've grown up kind of like accustomed to the attitude, like your lady, maybe it's oh, look at my Gucci purse, this is so beautiful. Or if you're a guy, it's, you know, maybe oh, check out my new car, you know, this is wonderful, don't you wish you could have it? You know, so it's kind of, it's trying to impress other people. It also applies to the, you know, your home. I mean, everybody likes to live in, you know, have a comfortable place to stay. But I've noticed that in other countries, the people aren't really so impressed with that stuff. They're more impressed with how you act, how you relate to them. They don't want to see some guy that, you know, basically drinks, you know, 10 beers every day, that kind of thing. At least that's been what I've noticed. So yeah, it just, it's a different lifestyle, and the less stuff that you carry around with you, the easier that's gonna be for you to reestablish yourself. Anyway, hopefully this gives you some decent information, and And again, for me, for myself, it's just like once I decided I really didn't want to just stay in the U.S., I thought, okay, I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff. And I did. And I have no regrets. And also, once you go wherever you're going, don't just assume that you need to get a car. Not having a car is it can be such a, I don't know, I don't want to say gratifying feeling, but it kind of is, because you won't have any car payment, you don't have any insurance to deal with, you don't have to pay for gas, you just pay for your Grab ride or Uber ride or Trike ride, whatever it is, and you're going to save money, or you use the public transportation, which can be really dirt cheap, so you can go any way you want. If you feel the need, like, oh, I've got to have a car, just keep that in mind, that wherever you're coming from, a lot of times you're buying that car to impress people, impress your neighbors, impress your family. Something to keep in mind. And anyway, I don't know of a better time to retire, outside the U.S. probably than right now. Because with all the political stuff going on, there's no telling, as far as Social Security, there's no telling how long that's going to last, or anything else for that matter. Anyway, hey, thanks for listening. Again, these are just my personal opinions. I'm not giving anybody advice, but these are all things to consider before making the move. Get those bills paid off, and you'll be glad you did. And don't hop back into a car payment, because that could actually kind of kill your retirement plans if it's too much. All right. Hey, thank you. Bye.